If liquid organic fertilizers are like tasty, edible, digestible soup for your plants, then top dressing is the porterhouse steak and fries. Plants love liquid organic feeds, stuff like Bio, Thrive, Grow, and Bloom, because modern formulations like these are bottled in a form that's typically just a step or two back from full mineralization. That means beneficial biology in the soil can break it down very easily to become plant available. So what about top dressing? Well, slow-release organic fertilizers can provide a crucial backbone of nutrients throughout the life cycle. You take organic powders, this is solid inputs rather than liquids, and sprinkle them onto the top of the pot or around the base of your plants, then water in. I'm talking about stuff like bat guano, seabird guano, dried processed sea kelp, bone meal, and alfalfa meal. You can buy this stuff individually, or you can use composite blends that have been specifically formulated for different times in the plant life cycle. Of course, there's more to it than that, like what type of organic stuff should you use, and when, how much, how often. I'll get into all that, I promise, but let's get started with the best way to actually top dress your plants. First, some general tips. Be sure to spread your top dressing mix evenly across the top of the soil using a hand fork or trowel to sort of scratch it into the top layer to distribute the material evenly and prevent caking when watering through. I like to mix my top dressing ingredients with compost and then top dress. The humus contains microbiology that gets straight to work on breaking down the organic matter. Ooh. Next, which inputs to use. If your plants are still in veg and you notice some of the older leaves are turning pale, this could be a sign that you need to up your nitrogen levels. Blood meal, chicken manure, feather meal, and bat guano are your go-tos for a nitrogen boost. Personally, I prefer to use a blended product such as Vermiveg, as it's been formulated to deliver high amounts of soluble nitrogen coupled with a full micronutrient profile. For a light feed, use half a teaspoon per gallon of soil or 1 cup per 12 square feet every other week. For heavier feedings, repeat weekly. If you're sure that nitrogen is the only element that's lacking, then bat guano is your best bet. You can buy it separately, such as Vermibat, but be careful, as almost half of the nitrogen it contains is immediately water-soluble and so very fast-acting. The microbes in bat guano are an added treat for your plants too, and there are additional benefits such as chitin, insect fragments, that help to stimulate your plants' immune systems. Try a half a teaspoon per gallon of soil or 1 cup per 12 square feet. Yep, I told you it was strong. For a more timed release nitrogen source, say over 6 to 8 weeks, go for blood meal. It releases fairly rapidly and is broken down very quickly, especially in media inoculated with beneficial microbes. Use it just like bat guano. For plants heading into flowering and fruiting, you should be thinking less about nitrogen and more about phosphorus. Essential for cell division and the transport of other nutrients, which results in huge flowers and fruits. Purplish discoloration of the leaf margins is the classic but late sign of phosphorus deficiency. Seabird guano and steamed bone meal are your go-to organic soluble phosphorus sources, especially for short cycle plants with a 10-week flowering cycle or less. About half the phosphorus in steamed bone meal is instantly available, with the other half becoming available around 6 weeks later. Calcium phosphate and rock phosphate are much slower release, between 2 and 3 years. They are best used at planting time and in beds that are being used for several seasons. However, once again, you can make your life easy using pre-mixed blends. In this case, you can't really beat something like Vermibloom, as all the individual raw ingredients have been blended into ideal ratios for optimal uptake. For a light feeding, use half a teaspoon per gallon of soil or 1 cup per 12 square feet every other week. For heavier feedings, repeat weekly. Potassium is another key element associated with the transport of water, nutrients, and carbohydrates within plant tissue, and is often required in elevated amounts during the flowering stage. Along with phosphorus, your fast-growing, heavy-fruiting annual plants will almost certainly thank you for a boost in this primary element as they start to form buds, flowers, and fruits. A simple organic potassium input would be powdered kelp meal or a soluble seaweed extract or a general PK boost blend. Many flowering plants can get hungry for both phosphorus and potassium during mid to late flowering, and the blend ensures these crucial elements are delivered at optimal ratios for uptake. Always watering your top dressings well, ideally with some actively aerated compost tea diluted with 50 parts dechlorinated water. Repeat applications every 2 weeks. Compost tea turbocharges the breakdown rate of organic inputs, meaning your plants can access the nutrition sooner. Finally, for outdoor plants, try making a small crater around the base of the plant to help retain water and stop your top dressings from being washed away. If you're already using liquid organic nutrients, then take it easy with top dressings. Try halving my application rates and they should work great together. Okay, I'll stop there. I hope your outdoor plants are starting to make you feel small. Don't forget that subscribing to my channel is free, and it's a bit like top dressing for my soul. So click that big red button and send me some solubilized love. Bye for now, amigos.